How you doing, YouTube? Right, today I'm going to speak about the prison system. The state of the prison system at the moment is absolutely unsafe. It's dangerous. It's atrocious. You know, I've been going to prison since 1996. You know, it was unsafe then, but now it's just a different monster altogether. Um, so I had about 5 years away from prison. You know, I got my life back. I got my kids back. I got a house. I got a job. I was a drug and alcohol worker first, then I became a probation worker. And yeah, man, you know, when I went back to prison after my son died, I relapsed, went back to prison in May of 22. I've been out 3 weeks now. It's now April 24, come out in March. So I've done about 22 months. And yeah, you know, it was a shock even to me, you know, an old convict, you know. Um, you know, the fact that I'd been a drug and alcohol worker and a probation worker, you know, obviously that softened me, you know, getting my kids back and, you know, getting my life back and having a job and routine and whatever. But, you know, make no mistake about it, it would have shocked me in any, you know, time in my life the way it is right now. You know, I'm pretty sure it's past 90,000 the population. The staff numbers have gone down, no matter what the government tell you. You know, you know, you look around, there's no staff around. The drug epidemic in there is frightening. You know, the new drug, you know, NPS, Spice, Mamba, whatever you want to call it. You know, it's taken over the system. The gangs that are running the prison, you know, they're totally unmanageable. The staff don't know what they're doing. You know, the staff are understaffed, and they are, you know, it's not like in the old days when it was like a job for life. You know, these are people that come in, you know, part timers, you know, get a job between jobs or first job after college or whatever, and yeah, they look like frightened kids, most of them, you know, and they don't know how to talk to these people, you know, these convicts, these gangs, and the gangs are just basically running the prison system, you know. There's a lot of money involved, big money, you know. In the old days, you know, if you had somebody who was, you know, a baron, so to speak, or a drug dealer, and they was, you know, getting away with too much, the prison would just ship them out, you know, they just transfer them to another establishment. They can't do that no more, you know, they haven't got the capacity to do it, you know. Um, it's, you know, every prison is at capacity, you know, so, you know, ringing up and asking for a move, and you'd have to do it every day because there's a queue of them, you know. It's got totally out of hand, you know, it's nothing like it used to be. And the drug spice, you know, the things that people would do for it, because, you know, it affects the nervous system, you know, and, you know, these people are dependent, whether, you know, scientists say it or not, you know, they're totally dependent. These are people that are walking around like zombies, like that, asleep almost, walking down the landing, you know, attacking prison officers or inmates. You know, if an inmate who's selling spice wants somebody, you know, if there's a, say, a prison officer who's a bit too busy, you know, you just give someone a page of spice and they'll do whatever you want. You know, throw urine over the officer or cut an officer or beat an officer, whatever it is they want them to do, they'll do it for this stuff. You know, because they need it basically. You know, they depend on it for their emotions. You know, they've become dependent on it for everything. You know, can't sleep without it, can't think without it, can't relax without it. You know, it's an absolute epidemic, and yeah, it's made the system unsafe, and it's out of hand. You know. So whatever the government say about, you know, they've got a handle on it, you know, or, you know, they're going to combat this or that, you know, they're not doing it, you know. You know, I was very fortunate that, you know, I'd done my 22 months unscathed, you know, but You know, the amount of stabbings, beatings, hot water chucked over people, you know, whatever it may be. You know, the amount of stuff I saw, you know, prison officers getting attacked, prison officers having urine thrown over them, you know, people getting robbed. You know, if you go to prison and you haven't got, you know, a network already there, and, you know, you've got money or whatever, you know, and certain people sort of will sniff you out, you know, and find out, you know, whether it be through Facebook or, you know, through ringing a friend of a friend or whatever, and finding out a little bit about you, where your weaknesses lie, and just get you on the phone, you know, to your people, and you're transferring large amounts of money into their accounts. It's as simple as that, or you're not coming out to sell until it's done. You know, it is a scary, scary place at the moment, and there are solutions, I believe. You know, I'm not talking from the standpoint of a convict or a prisoner, ex-prisoner. You know, I'm talking. Well, I am talking from that standpoint. I can't help but talk from that standpoint. But, you know, I'm also talking from a professional standpoint. You know, um, my experience as a drug and alcohol worker, my experience as a probation worker, working with male offenders. You know, it gives me a little bit of credence. You know, a little bit of authority on this subject. And I truly believe that, you know, there's got to be a total and utter turnaround in the way people think about criminal justice, you know, and, you know, there are options, you know. Um, Certainly, you know, sentences under 12 months should be abolished, you know. I think they've done it in Scotland, or they're talking about it, but I'm pretty sure they might have done it. You know, non-violent offenders, you know, with no history of violence, you know, usually with drug problems, you know, they need treatment. You know, treatment can work if it's done correctly and there's enough money put into it. Um, Also, you know, there's options where you could build more social housing, because a lot of the problems of some of these, you know, people is poverty. You know, and if there's not some action on poverty, then these problems are just going to keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. You know, and people that have never taken substances, you know, will end up being drug addicts, and their children's children, until the cycle's broken, until the government sees that, you know, the amount of money to spend on prisons and, you know, NHS due to poverty, you know, needs to be addressed. You know, this problem. You know, so yeah, housing is definitely a big issue. You know, it's a holistic approach. You know, it's got to be, you know, all avenues got to be looked at, but, you know, I definitely feel that, you know, the violent offenders, you know, they need to be locked up. They have to be locked up, you know, for the safety of the public and, you know, sometimes themselves, their families, whatever, and their girlfriends. But I also believe that, you know, these violent offenders should be separated from the offenders that are in for, you know, non-violent offences and they've got no history of non-violence. Because, you know, it's creating issues that, you know, don't need to be there. You know, you could have prisons which have got, you know, low staff numbers for non-violent offenders, and, you know, give them, you know, a little bit more freedom. You know, open prisons. You know, go to work, give something back to the community. You know, um, and, you know, the violent offenders. You know, you can't take risks like that with them people. You know, because, you know, their antecedents recognises that they are where they're meant to be, I suppose, you know. Much as it pains me to say that, you know, because, you know, these people, a lot of these people, you know, when you meet them on a good day, they're lovely people. But, you know, there's a switch inside them that unfortunately they are violent people. So we have to protect the public, obviously. But I mean, yeah, I will definitely be sharing a lot more on this. But this is my first video. I never use scripts, so it's all, you know, just coming straight out of my head. I'm sure you can tell. But yeah, I will definitely, if I get any exposure on this, you know, likes or, you know, subscribers or or just views, then I'll definitely come back on this subject. Right, thank you very much.